Okay, so I started this yesterday, and hopefully you can see my head here. And I had issues come up, so I had to quit right away. So I'm back again. Now I have this bigger fork thing, and I have the little one. And then the shovel. I seen this online. I don't remember what company was selling it, but it's a little weeder. It's like the Stirrapole, but of course you get in really close to the plants, and of course it's just right there, so you can go in around very tight situations with this that you can't get with the Stirrapole. So I decided to make one. Got my pruners and my harvesting pan, because when we get over right here, the thyme and the savory has to be cut back. So what are we going to do here? I'm going to move that in a little closer, I think. Hopefully I'm happy with how that records. Now what we have here, and it's not growing very well, probably due to the fact that it's got the creeping buttercup coming in there. Creeping buttercup is actually really bad because it's got this mat of roots, and you've seen probably in the other videos about how bad it's restricting the rhubarb over there. And if you don't get those roots out, yeah, it just sucks the water and nutrients out from everything. But valerian is what was growing here quite well at one point. And the soil is pretty good, but like I say, that creeping buttercup, you just got to get in there and get the roots out. That's what these little forks are for, of course. You see, it's also got this. So along with the mat of feeder roots that it sends out over the top, when you get to the main part of the buttercup, it has this taproot that you'll find. So see, that's the valerian, and it looks like one that was over here is dead and gone. But I'll put a picture in of the one that's out by the front fence, and it's much bigger than this, but it is also much younger, because I had this one in here for years. I believe this one is white, and the one out by the fence is purple or pink or something. Now I don't know how much I want to reduce the size of this St. John's wort, but I had to dig around the roots so I can get this grass out. And I guess that piece is coming out all together. See, so I'll show you some soil now. Get my shadow out of the way. It's really nice soil here in this bed, because I really did put a lot of compost back 2018, 2019, I believe it was. Yeah, so it looks like I lost one of the valerian that was here. So it is a different variety than the one out front. So I'm gonna have to wait until that one grows a bit again so that I can divide it, and then I'll have two here again. Okay, so it's really heavy right here. This is the main part, the root system of the St. John's wort. Starts right here. You see more grass than you do plant here right now, but there is a green lemon thyme there. And that's what these little minute mauve colored flowers are. So the question is, how am I going to finally get rid of that grass? I think it's going to have to be several times pulling it up, but eventually I'll get to where I've gotten the thyme cut back and get down to get out the main roots. But I don't think I'll get the main roots out of here today. Not of the grass, I mean. Oh, that smells beautiful. I kind of want to save all of the fresh, any of this that I accidentally pull off, any of the thyme. It is one of my favorite herbs actually, and I don't have any in the house right now. So I need to bring some in and dehydrate it. Dry it, whatever you want to call it. This plant here, get this grass out of the way. Is also a very tasty plant, and the seeds and all are good. It's lamb sorrel. Now that's not to be confused with sheep laurel. That's a different plant altogether. But this is one of the sorrels, so it's got that lemony taste that all of the sorrels have, and it's kind of a love-hate relationship with it because it self-seeds, and it can grow once the soil is disturbed. It can spread really fast, but it is a delicious plant. So whenever you have a lot of it, well, you have a lot of sorrel to add to spice up any savory dishes, right? Look at this guy. I've been having trouble with slugs this year. I think a lot of people have been having trouble with slugs. Now the edge of the bed is actually right there, back right here, and this thyme is growing out and starting to root outside of the bed hedge. So I'm going to take this pruners see what we can do. Pick the grass out of it. That is a plant there now. It's not looking great just because it had to grow up a mile of wheat, right? It'll take a couple prunings now before this is looking actually sensible again. But yeah, there it is. Move you over so now you can just see the back camera takes a better picture, and it takes it the right way. Of course, if I had it on front, then I'd be able to do a selfie, right? That's okay. We'll do it this way. And now we'll move along and we'll do this one. Once a garden sage gets growing, it's hard to kill it. This thing is doing excellent despite all the grass, and there is even some buttercup there. It does grow up sometimes, and some of the shoots die back, and you'll get the new shoots growing up closer to the crown. Now you can see how big the garden sage is. And as you can see, it'll be repeating. Take some time to actually going over and over this to get all of the, or most of the weeds out. You'll never get all of them out of there. We'll get it back looking nice when I trim this back, etc., etc. Okay, let's try here now, because right here there's a onion chives. Right here there's a lavender. Yeah, there was a French tarragon here at one point. I got the label still there, but I don't think it did very well from the get-go, even without the neglect. It was a nice plant though. I did like the herb. And eventually I guess I'll probably get one again. There, the onion chives, it did have a couple flowers on it. So there's the onion chives. That's the lavender. Some stinging nettles. I'm going to have to get your leather gloves for that. All across this end of this bed is lavender. One little strawberry. You're going to be right in the way where you are there now, so I'm going to have to move you. There's yarrow growing here, but I don't think this is the right place for it to grow. I'm not quite sure where I would like the yarrow to grow, so I guess that's something for a later date. Now, what will we find here, if anything? That's a good question. There was plants here. And I don't remember what it was. But it doesn't look like there's anything there now. Let's see what this tool will do in between the chives. Oh, I guess that didn't work. Gone soft. Yeah, so I'll pick up the stuff that I got put out in the pathways now, and then we'll talk about what we've got for herbs there. Well, let's see. I don't have the herbs cut down, but we've got weeds mostly out of it. Here in the front, there was two valerian. This is a white valerian, if my memory serves me correctly. And as we can see, one of them must have died completely. And this one was struggling along. So it's quite tiny, but now that I've got the weeds out of there, it should revive and come along just well. It was doing well until, like I said, it got overgrown with weeds. And St. John's wort, by the time I got all the grass and stuff out of it, there's not really a whole lot there. It's more cleanup to do. We'll get to it. This is green lemon thyme right here. This one is your regular garden sage. Since I was able to get at the onion chives, I cut some of this one out right away for my supper. And this, I think this is a white lavender. I think. Now this is the humongous plant, and we'll put in more of a wide angle, the lovage. And no pun intended, but I do love lovage. And I use the leaves as a regular herb. You can use it as a fresh herb, a pot herb. You can dry it and make it into a powder. I haven't used the flowers. What I like to do with the stalk is to cut it up in little pieces and boil it and make a tea out of it. And with sweetened celery flavored tea, I really like it. So that's what I do with lovage. And as you can see, he's huge, so I have to cut it back. Let's see if we can. Right, it's a huge plant. And there is a walkway right there. You wouldn't know it because this is a purple lavender, I think. 2 plants, and they're quite large and need to be cut back. Spread way out over the bed on both sides and into that pathway. Right here there was catnip and parsley, and we have just one little parsley plant growing now. There was some that I ended up pulling up when I was pulling up the rest of the weeds, because there were so many weeds that I really couldn't avoid it. But as I said when I was cleaning around this one, it's a nice little plant, and it might grow up and even flower this year. If it doesn't flower this year, then it'll overwinter and flower next year. And this is summer savory. I think I add winter savory over here. A winter savory plant and a summer savory plant. I'm not sure, but I think that's what was there. And then we have these 6 onion chive plants right here. So that's nice, and I have to find out now. I could maybe even now start some parsley seedlings and plant out, say, this side of it, and then decide on some other seedlings. So I mean, it's middle of July. I can still, especially if it's a perennial, there's time to start a seedling and get it in the ground. Next week I might be able to go to Faith Greenhouses and see if they got anything that I could bring home and plant right there. But yeah, so this is happy. I mean, it was really only half a day. I was doing some other things early in the morning, and now we've got this bed, the weeds all out. Sun is out, so the mosquitoes are gone in. And let's cut back these herbs one at a time. I'll cut them back and bring this one in and cut the next one back. So let's start with this sage. You gotta use the scissors for this. I had bypass pruners, but the spring is broken on my bypass pruners. I'm wondering how far I can actually cut this back and not overly damage it. I mean, I should be able to cut back so that all the flowers are gone. And some of the pieces that are growing way out, I should cut this entire thing off like that. That was a quick change, eh? I'll leave it at that for now. I'll bring this bowl in. So this is what I got. I got the bowl right full. I'll bring this in. I'll put this in the sunroom, and then I'll come back out and we'll do the thyme there. Get a little better close up of what the garden sage is looking like now. You see this herb, technically I think you should be able to cut it right back to the roots and just a stump and it'll grow out again from the roots. I think. But I don't know for sure. And now I'm getting a cut back. You can see that if I can get at this grass here now and get that out of there. And this really long piece going over here. And it's one of those, see all this underneath stuff. Kind of got a lot of dead sticks because, well, I wasn't getting any light from all the overgrowth, so it was kind of a useless mass. To keep this cut back smaller, I've got other thyme plants around in other parts of the garden, so I'm not serious if I overcut this down, but like I say, I don't think it's possible to cut this back far enough to kill it. There we go. Now we took out a few pieces when we were weeding out before, because we couldn't help it but break a few pieces off as we were trying to pull out the other weeds. But this is what I just cut off. Now we have three lavender, two different colors, but it'll be used all for the same anyway. And so we'll put them all together. There's the chives right there, and then this is the fresh lavender. I think this is a white lavender. Because I have the three and the other two are actually quite large, I've got this shopping bag that I'll probably end up having to stuff some of the herb down into. And this one grows toward the sun. Partially we got this shade here because this is going south this way, right? So it's growing out this way because it's growing into the sun. So it's not growing as good as the other one. I don't know if I should dig it up and move it somewhere else or what. If you have an opinion on whether or not I should move it, go right ahead and leave it in the comments. But, well, I'll bring you in and show you. Let's see if I can do this. So see, this is the, oh, tip you down a little too far. This is the main crown right here, and I have this little small piece coming out here, and then all the mass of it is all growing this way. And then right here is the edge of the bed. So all of this out here is out in the pathway. So I don't know what to do with it right now other than just cut that back and then let it grow out again. This you may have to leave a bit of greenery on. I don't know if it's as robust as the garden as the oregano is. Thyme, not oregano. I'll get it once. Green lemon thyme. And I cut this back just so that there's a little bit of a delineation between the two herbs, right? It's not growing right into the chives. Because in my opinion, it's better to have a little bit of a space. And then if I want, I can put some fine mulch around each herb. And have just, say a centimeter space between the two that you can just run your hand between. That's enough. But if they're all growing intertwined together, then it makes it difficult to harvest them. See, that was one of the French tarragon tags. I'm going to leave that little shoot sticking up there. This part that was really in the shade is dead, see? So I'll cut that off. There, so that's that one for now. I'll put that in the shopping bag I have there, and then we'll go over to the other two. Now this is quite the monstrosity of a lavender plant, eh? The bed is, I did it 3 feet, so 3 feet wide. Just under a meter. And it's hanging out good 30 centimeters, 1 foot this side, 1 foot that side. It's hanging out halfway into the pathway here. So I can cut around it and then decide on what I'm going to cut it out of the center afterwards. I'll find the end of the bed. This is all the dead stuff I'm cutting off underneath now. Well, not dead stuff actually, it's the stuff that didn't have any leaves on it, and the leaves were further out, so I cut back to where it was totally shaded and there's no more leaves on it. And now I'm cutting back the parts that main part out of the walkway here. And I think what I should do is leave this for a little while, and maybe after it flowers I'll trim it back into a nice smooth edge type looking thing. I do have another bowl full. This is the stuff further in that I had to cut back. So here we are now, and you can see that part of the pathway is clear, Okay, let's deal with this monstrosity. As far as I know, there's no reason why, other than, I mean, pollinators like flowers anyway, that I should let the flowers open up so I can cut all those tall parts. I can cut them all back, I think, and make this a smaller version for right now. And of course there's underneath stuff. You see, stuff that was really in the shade is starting to die, so gotta cut all that out. There's some yellowing stuff right there. I have, because of the way I need to process this in the house, it's better for me to take that those pieces off as long as I can. Make the, like, say this piece hanging out here, take the entire thing off right to the ground, right? And take them in the house, and then I gotta cut them up with the food processor. So I've got the wheelbarrow here to put it in, and just go around and cut it back. So I think the best thing for it to do is set you back a little bit and get to work on this. I'll set you back there, and we'll do the best we can with the footage when we are editing. I think that was a good idea. I'll move the wheelbarrow out of it. Yeah. So there we are. That's looking good, I think. It's heavily clouded over right there again right now. There's a really dark, ugly cloud up there. I don't know if we're going to get a rain shower or not. But we'll work away on unless it really comes on to rain heavy. I have a bunch of window screens to spread this out on, and tomorrow they're forecasting showers all day, so there's a few things I can do tomorrow, and I guess this will be one of them if I don't get it done tonight before I go to bed. See, once again, we've got a bunch of stuff underneath that's just leafless wood. And do we want all that there? Probably just the invitation for disease. So if I cut a bunch of this back to a very small plant, then I can get it to, I can take care of it and have it grow out into a nice healthy plant. Right now it's not. It's looking fairly healthy, but as I say, this underneath stuff, you get a fungal disease or something in there, and you can have trouble with the plant really fast. So let's just cut it back nice ways, but hopefully be able to cut it back and still have a decent looking plant there. Once again though, and because this has been here for several years now, and the trees were there, it had grown out this way because it was really shaded. So most of that undergrowth stuff was on this side of the plant, on the north side. I think I'm going to leave it like that for now. Then in a couple of weeks time I'll see what new growth is growing out, and as the new growth starts I can decide on what other old growth that I'll cut back to make this into a nice looking bush. And that of course is what we've got. These 6 little bunches of chives, I technically don't need to trim them now because they're just small little things, but I think since I'm at it I just want to make the area look nice, and so I'm going to trim them back. At some point I need to really get at each bunch, and maybe I might even have to take them up and take them apart. Anyway, it's like grass, right? So you can get weeds right in among them. So what I'll have to do right now is trim them back, and I'll use this for supper later on. I'll have to pick through it and pick out all the grass bits, right? And whatever other weeds are there. I'm going to have a oniony tasting supper. But now you can see the 6 little bunches of chives. Now, so let's see the excitement, the final result. I came back and I used a digging fork and I loosened up everywhere where there was no plants. And yeah, then I used my other little hand fork and got out pretty much all of the roots out of where there was no other herbs. And it is looking beautiful. Now I was thinking I can try one of my rosemaries and marjorams here, see if they'll last the winter. And what else? So I've planned this out now. But I even cleaned out in between the chives there. So it's all looking beautiful. Wonderful. And it took a day and a half actually. It's only 2 p.m. right now, and it wasn't all day yesterday. So when you have health and a good day, then you can get a lot done. So thank you for watching. Remember, don't eat the poison food, and I will see you in the next video.